we were open about the experiences. And what we realized is that when we did share our experiences with others, there's so many people that have gone through child loss, right? There's so many people that have gone through child loss, but they haven't shared with others. And I remember it was a dentist that we were speaking to, and somehow this conversation came up. She's like, to this day, I can't go to where my child is resting because, so everyone deals with trauma differently, right? But I think for us, we have been open about it, and a lot of stories have been shared with us. People going through child loss after the child being born. People going, you're having stillbirths. People trying to conceive children, unable to do so. You have fertility clinics for a reason, so on and so forth. So there are a lot of parents that are going through tough times. And I think it's important to understand that there is a community out there of individuals that can help and support. And I'm not a very emotional kind of person, right? Like I'm a very logical person, so to speak. At least I consider myself to be that. But when you're going through this, you appreciate when you get those messages.
Of course.
Even though you're not responding to it, you appreciate that because you're like, hey, listen, there are people that kind of look out for you. You appreciate those, I remember even you, I think, had sent Uber Eats from shout out to Kebab Shop, right? For Uber Eats. And they're like, okay, or, uncle and aunts dropping off food. People, it just, and you're unable to respond to anyone. You don't want to speak to anyone, but I think that does play an important role to kind of be like, hey, listen, there's a community out there that really cares for you.
It is. Even though at that time, like you've mentioned a few times already, was COVID, and there was so much social distancing, which in hindsight, I think a lot of experts would agree was very harmful to a lot of people, more than just the virus itself, but a lot of social aspects. And here as well, you going through a trauma, having to go to the hospital on your own, parents can't come, funeral again, parents can't come. And again, after that, dealing with a lot of things, people can't come to visit, come and bring home cooked food. There's a lot of fear around COVID and a lot of fear mongering, honestly. And I think that really took away from what it could have been. But it was great to know that, a lot of people, there was an outpouring of support. Yeah, there was an outpouring of support. There's a well that was built through a Canadian charity in Yemen. In a village where they didn't have access to clean water, in her name, and so there was a lot of support. There's a lot of donations that went to sick kids in her name, and so we try to keep her memory alive as much as we can. She's one of her children, and we continue on. And even to this day, we have some family members that would, when they give like Eid gifts, right? That they would give something in her name too, and we use that to kind of like support a cause or what have you, right? That's nice.
So I think it's important, and for some people, I think they work around this by trying to forget that moment. For us, the approach that we took is that we'll embrace it. What we didn't do is we decided not to litigate the issue or go through the court system in order and go through an ordeal. And that's something that we elected not to. And I honestly, I left that to my wife to make that decision, just because I understand and appreciate as a father I may be going through some, but for a person that has carried the baby to full term and has that emotional connection and has that physical connection to that baby, the impact on them is exponentially higher.
For sure.
So we decided not to go through that route, but definitely, I think, continue to share her story.
It's awesome that you've really cherished the memory. And even though it was very traumatic, it's a huge loss to lose a child, a baby. You've kind of really taken that as part of your identity, and you're inspiring other people with it. And when you speak about it, it's you have kind of almost a fond memory of her, even in the brief moments, even though it was very traumatic. And it's very inspiring, actually. It's very nice to hear that. But what made you, kind of take that approach?